we are on the path to making this a better and safer city. I think that's what everyone wants here. We do have our challenges. I do believe in justice for Iryna. She certainly deserved this. So I'm not sure what will come of it, but certainly I hope our political leaders can join together and figure out what we can do to make this a much better, safer city. From what I understand, she wanted to become a veterinarian technician. So that's why I left the little candle and the little puppy dog attached to it. I just know she wanted a better life and she deserved that. So I'm here just to honor her tonight.
This shouldn't have happened in the first place. And I feel like the reason why it does happen is we have these soft on crime judges that release these violent criminals and a mayor that makes excuses for it. And I'm glad it is getting the national attention it deserves, and I hope it stays that way. It needs to make people uncomfortable.
That was the vigil of Iryna Zariska. She was a Ukraine refugee that lived in Charlotte, North Carolina in search of a good life. She also went to school to become a veterinary assistant, but to make ends meet, she worked at a pizza parlor. Coming home from her job, she was fatally stabbed by the suspect, DeCarlos Brown Jr. This incident was brought to the national stage because many Republicans wanted people to pay attention to democratically ran cities like Memphis, Chicago, where the crime rate is out of control. But on conservative media outlets, a lot of people was torn between how some of these cities take care of mentally ill suspects and also a racial divide.
And I ain't trying to make it racial, but based on what I saw from that guy and my perspective of him, I can assume that that particular guy doesn't have the resources or the people around him to help him get to where he needs to be to. So, for example, maybe he didn't have money to get treatment.
Now
Maybe he
he's
not in public.
a political statement.
By who? Who got a political statement?
Benny Johnson, a lot of MAGA Republicans that's white who feel like they're not getting treated right in this country based on DEI. So when they see a black person do something, they overly hopping on it. Like, why y'all ain't in the streets like y'all was in the streets with Black Lives Matter, them people.
The true evil of this vicious murder of Iryna Zariska, the Ukrainian war refugee, is us, you and me, for noticing. We noticed, and that means we're drawing attention to it. Trump-friendly social media. Also, the increased amount of security cameras in public spaces, making videos just too easy to share. Insane. Yeah, they found the real enemy. Not the woke activist judges. As I said in this morning's stream, and I got to be really careful when I talk about this because, obviously the guy deserves to go to trial, be found guilty, and get the death penalty, right? That this would be a just result.
Regardless of your perspective about this incident, you just wanted what's right. Justice for this girl, also a law that back up law-abiding citizens, and also took care of their mentally ill suspects. So Republicans of Charlotte were pushing for a law, a more improved law called the Iryna's Law. The Iryna's Law is the House of Bill 307. It's a comprehensive criminal justice reform bill that was passed by the North Carolina General Assembly. The bill passed in the North Carolina House 81-31 on September 23rd, 2025. These are the provisions of the Iryna's Law. Expanded definition of violent offenses. This broadens the term to include any felony where assault or the threat of physical violence is an essential element. This applies to both prior convictions and current charges. Stricter pretrial release guidelines. limits the judicial and magistrate discretion for defendants charged with violent offenses, presumes detention for repeated offenders, eliminates cashless bail for many crimes. First-time violent offenders face heightened scrutiny. Mental health evaluations mandates evaluations for defendants with histories of mental illness or substance abuse, aiming to address root causes like those potentially involved in Zariska's case. Death penalty reform, speed up post-conviction appeal in capital cases, allows alternative execution methods. If lethal injection drugs are unavailable, potentially resuming execution after a nearly 20-year hiatus due to legal challenges. Magistrate accountability modifies procedures for suspending or removing magistrate who fail to follow pretrial guidelines and adding oversight. I was able to hit the streets and get interviews from people how they feel about this bill as well.
I don't support anything criminal, wrong, and people need to live because they have a long life to live, and people have things that they need to go through in life where they need to accomplish things, but humanity overall is important for the world.
The law requires mental health evaluations before releasing suspects with violent histories. Do you think this will make communities like Charlotte safer, or it is more of a Band-Aid for deeper issues?
I'm gonna have to go with both. I think it'll make it safer, but what's to say they release somebody that may seem okay in the moment, but they get out and they're still dealing with mental health issues later on down the road, which makes it unsafe. So I have to go somewhere in the middle, I'll say.
It might be a Band-Aid, but it's a good start to solving those issues if suspects are released only after a mental health evaluation. It depends on the crime, of course. I think the law pertains to violent activity. So ideally, the full punishment is handed out just based on what that crime is. But requiring a mental health assessment would essentially disallow those criminals back on, or those people with mental health issues altogether. So yeah, I think that's probably the best or a good start to solving the problem. I haven't thought about it too much after that, but I don't know too much about the law itself, but that sounds like a good start to me.
Okay. Do you support Iryna's law to push in cashless bail for violent crimes, or do you worry it could unfairly burden low-income defendants?
I feel like it can, and it is going to affect low income. I feel like the way they're acting on the train, I feel like, and then them not letting a lot of low income people on the train, it's causing more trouble. If you
can't change for stuff that already happened, but one thing you can do is improve the law for people like us, regardless if you red, blue, black, white, you are a law-abiding citizen. But cities like Charlotte, we do have mentally ill suspects that need to be taken care of. So the Iryna's law is a good start to bring accountability to judges and also to the people who run this city. Until then, next time, this is the bigger point.